What's up, everybody? This is EvanForGrips.com, continuing with Project Get Me Stackin. Today's question is something that I can definitely relate to, and it's a problem shared by many that I used to definitely experience in the past. So I'm very happy this question has come in, and I think it's going to save you guys a lot of frustration and annoyance in your poker career if you can learn about this question and get the answer early so you don't have to deal with it. So, here we go. Hey Evan, could you give me some advice? I started out playing 2NL cash games on Stars after studying some books and vids. Thumbs up if you play 2NL. And so far I am a winning player, 4BB per 100. I want to build a bankroll slow and steady so I can move up the stakes step by step, playing a 15-13 tag style. Still a little on the nitty side, but you want to call it tag? It's cool. I like to call myself tag even when I play nitty. However, every now and then I have a losing session with a bunch of kings versus aces coolers and bad beats. Fortunately, I am able to quit a losing session to cut my losses. I remind myself that it is okay to have a losing session once in a while, and that getting bad beats means you are getting it in profitably in the long run. Whatever you've been reading, it's good stuff. However, right after my sesh, I seem to focus too much on the amount of dollars I went down in my graph, and I feel a little down the next day, even though I'm still up compared to a couple of days ago. Oh yeah, we all know that feeling. Is this something that I will learn to adjust to when playing longer / getting more experience, or is there any other way to deal with this? Thanks, bro. Keep it up. Quentin from the Netherlands. And I mean, I'm guilty of this. Everyone's guilty of this. We have our tracking software, our poker tracker, our hold'em manager, and we want to see that graph. We want to see it go up. And we always want to be at the high point, being like, yeah, I'm doing better than I've ever been doing before. I'm crushing. Look at how high up I am on my graph. I'm running this game. And it's good, you know, it makes you feel good to see that you're doing well. But, I mean, it doesn't fully matter where you are in your graph. In fact, it's a very minor thing in your overall development as a player, but I'll take it straight to the presentation because slides answer this a little better than I can just on my own. So let's see if we can't just, yeah, there we are. So the reality of poker is that wins and losses are going to happen, and swings are part of the game. Variance is like noise on the stock market graphs. If you look at companies in the short term, go to Google Finance, check out any company in the short term, like 1 day, 1 week, even 1 month. There's going to be a lot of variance in the value of the price. It's going to be fluctuating up and down quite a bit. However, over the long term of say 5, 10, 20 years, most strong companies follow the same pattern. Steady upward growth. And your poker will be the same. And the key is to focus on the long run. Every hand you play is part of the giant session of life. And it's how you finish in the end that counts, not your day-to-day. So how you're doing right now, like right now, this session, if you're playing a session while you're watching this video, how you're doing right now, it doesn't matter. It should have no impact on your decisions. How you're doing this week should not have any impact on your decisions. And how you're doing this month, this year, over the past 5 years, okay, maybe over the past 5 years, you should hopefully be doing well and not poorly. But it should have no impact on your decisions, because other than how your opponents might adjust if they think you're winning or losing, that's the only thing that should matter for your decisions. Now, how other people are doing is going to affect their decisions, and you want to take advantage of this, but this is why you play poker with them. A strong mind can tune out how you're currently doing the same way that a strong athlete can play equally well if his team is winning or losing and doing what it takes to get the job done. The key is to remind yourself that how you're doing on the session it's just really not that important, and it's not going to play a big role. it should not play a big role in what decisions you make throughout the session. It should be based on, your hands, your opponents, your reads, game flow, all that stuff. Whether you're up 10 buy-ins or down 5 buy-ins, why should that have an impact on this particular hand? Because it's a variable that only affects you, and the hand is between you and your opponent. Okay, so as always, the key is making good decisions. And you want to reset after a losing session, remind yourself that that is the important thing when you play. As for the graph, it's very rare that you will be sitting at your lifetime high on your graph. And if you're only happy when this is the case, which is the case with a lot of graph checkers out there, you're going to be unhappy most of the time. And obviously, it's easier said than done to just ignore your results, but the easiest way to do so is to keep yourself in the dark. So stop looking at the graph. The graph, the graph doesn't matter. It's like a pretty thing, and it's fun to look at it when you're winning, but like the graph, what does the graph really mean? If you think about it, like what is the importance of the graph other than to make yourself feel good? It's not necessarily a reflection of how you're playing, because variance could be a big factor. There are many reasons why the graph is just not that important. And if you place a lot of emphasis on the graph, I mean, you're just screwing yourself. There's no other way to put it. So if you can't handle never looking at it, then look less frequently at the graph. And if your results are important for you to know, look at the number in your tracking software, your Hold'em Manager, your Poker Tracker, rather than the graph, because it's a lot less, it'll affect you a lot less emotionally, because pictures are more powerful than numbers or words. And when it comes to something that is going to have a big impact because you feel that it represents your results, you want the one that's going to be less impactful. But really, it's better to just not check your Hold'em Manager or Poker Tracker during your session to see if you're winning or losing, because it's probably going to affect your play. It's just like human nature that when you're stuck, you're going to want to grind really hard to get it back and maybe take some extra risks. And when you're winning a lot, you feel it's okay to play a little more loose and reckless and gambling. For your overall game plan, it's just not that good. Another thing you can do is consider filtering out the amount won or lost from your tracking software, so you can focus on other stats that may be more indicative of how well you're playing. Just because it's in your default settings doesn't mean you have to keep wins and losses as something you see when you check your poker tracker. Also, your wins and losses are not the only measure of how you're doing as a player and whether you're doing well and whether you're getting better. So it's important that you stop making it the only measure. Just learn to look at the other things beyond just your win rate and your hourly and how much you're making, because when you're first starting out in your career, the important thing is to focus on getting better, and being results oriented is really counterproductive. So you want to make sure that you are not doing that. And most poker sites don't display the bankroll in front of you. You either have to click show account balance or click cashier to see it. So nobody is making you check the results but yourself. And if this is something that affects you, then you have no one to blame but yourself. Now, if this isn't a problem for you, by all means check away. But if you are someone who plays worse when they are losing and or different when they're winning, maybe you want to experiment not looking at your bankroll or dollar results for a full week and see what happens. Maybe you don't want to check for a full month. As long as you have enough in your account to play at the limit you're going to play, and you're not taking shots, and you're safely within your bankroll limit, then knowing exactly where you stand really isn't that important. Okay, and being able to ignore the dollars and focus on what really matters, making good decisions, will give you more peace of mind and will probably have you performing better at the tables. Now, whatever you do, because I know how this feels, and when you go down on the graph, it's really easy to lose confidence, and the important thing to do is to stay confident, okay? If you've done well in poker over a significant sample of hands, then it probably wasn't just a pure fluke. It's not like you just regged a tournament and binked it and then you thought you were good and you had a downswing. It's no, if you've been playing cash and consistently grinding and winning, there is a reason you have been achieving success. And a small bump in the road does not take that away from you. That reason you've been succeeding is still there, And you should know that it's there. You shouldn't feel like because you have one small downswing, even a mini one, like a 1-day downswing, it's going to happen. But you shouldn't feel like you've just lost your ability to play and then start playing worse the next day because you just like don't feel as good about your abilities anymore. It's easy to feel like you're not as good as you thought you were, since winning breeds confidence, overconfidence sometimes, and losing often breeds fear. But I mean, that's simply just like, it's not true. You know, whether you're winning or losing does not determine how good you are at the game. And just try to remember that. Being a great player means being able to play equally well regardless of how your results have been as of late, and being able to make great decisions regardless of what's going on during the session or away from the table. You really got to be able to focus and just make good decisions. That's your job as a poker player. So when you sit down to your next session after having a small loss, go through the motions, play your hands, play your sessions, and just ask yourself if you're making good decisions. If you can say yes, then ignore the meaningless static that is your results and be confident in your play. If the answer is no, then it's fine to just, stop your session, but assess why you are not making good decisions and aim to fix it. If it's because you saw a downswing in your graph, don't look at the graph. If it's because you have difficulty handling loss, remind yourself that there are going to be some losses to accompany the wins, but as long as the wins are bigger than the losses, you're doing a good job. Once you can find out what's causing you to lose confidence or play poorly, you can aim to eliminate it and prevent it from creeping back into the picture in the future. And remember, if you're able to make good decisions in the past, then you're probably still able to make them now. Just remind yourself that. Tell yourself, I still know how to play good poker. So today, even though I lost yesterday, I'm going to play great poker. And I'm probably going to get back the money I lost. That's not even the point. I'm just going to make good decisions and the results will take care of themselves. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to when you have a losing session. A good trick is to just, when you're done playing, if you want to review your hands, look for the trouble spots, but then just like forget it. Move on to something else and start thinking about something else. Like if you're constantly thinking, oh, I won today, I did well, so I can go enjoy this and do that and feel great about it. But when you lose, you feel terrible and you just like, you're all like mopey and you just, all you can think about is the money you lost. Like it's really unhealthy. So you want to try to ignore the wins and losses, or just like not let them affect your mood. Be like, okay, it's great I won, or oh, that's too bad I lost. But tomorrow I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And like after a month, after 3 months, 6 months, a year, then you can take a look and really start to judge things to make sure that you're playing well. But as long as you're playing well, you're doing your job, that's the best you can do. And your results and the swings of how much you're winning or how much you're losing and where you fall within the graph, I mean, that's beyond your control. So that's something you really just should try not to think about and try not to worry about. Focus on what you can control, and if you're doing a good job with it, the rest will take care of itself. All right, and that wraps up this Q&A session. So please leave me your comments. As always, I've seen the comment count's been building up on the last videos, and that's really awesome. I'm getting really good feedback from you guys to help improve these videos, and I appreciate that. If you have any questions for Project Get Me Stackin, send them to evan@grips.com with the subject line Get Me Stackin. And if you find these videos helpful, they're improving your game, and you're doing well, then why not show your support and subscribe to my channel below. I really appreciate everyone who has done that, and keeps me motivated to continue to put out these videos and help you guys get stacking. I hope you found the video insightful and informative. This has been Evan for Grips.com. Peace.